Exactly.
Yes.
We'd like to welcome Anthony Lopez. Anthony is a model, actor, dancer as well, and entrepreneur. A few years ago, he founded a very unique male cosmetics line, Alpha Male Cosmetics. He's here to talk about his personal and entrepreneurial journey. So the word makeup is not, put next to the phrase alpha male.
Correct.
How did you come up with this?
Okay, so 3 years ago, I was modeling at a fashion show and I wore women's makeup and it broke me out. So I was like, there has to be something made for men. So I went online and I decided to look up anything for men. Is there anything on the market for men? And there wasn't. So I decided to meet with a chemist and formulate something for men. But it took me a while to figure out what is it exactly that men are going to gravitate to. I'm a man myself, so anything that was overly feminine, I was like, So I was sitting on bed one day, and I was looking at National Geographics, and I saw a wolf. And a wolf is a leader of a pack. He's an alpha. And at that point, I was just like, Alpha Male Cosmetics, that's the name. And it just stuck with me. It was like, that's it. It was an aha
That's a
moment.
bold name.
Yeah.
It is.
How do you sell the cosmetics to these men who usually they're like, I don't want to touch anything. They don't want to show their feminine side, even though everybody has some. But how do you tell them about what you do?
Well, it's interesting to find out that a lot of men do wear makeup. And I was actually at home one day, and it was when I first got the product in, and my brother was with me. Brother's a real thug kind of guy, right? And my concealer was open. And I was like, I didn't go out last night. I didn't use my concealer. So I text my brother, and I'm like, hey, did you use it? He's like, yeah, I had bags under my eye that I had to cover. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I understand what you guys are doing. But for me, it's more or less just enhancing your handsome. It's not emasculating a man. It's not trying to, feminize the male character. It's about being yourself. It's okay to wear makeup. It's okay to wear concealer. It's okay to be yourself.
Nice. Enhancing your handsome. I don't know how any man could argue with that. Hey, for our bold audience, especially the men in the audience, what do you think about this concept? Are you going to be wearing makeup?
Are you going to buy it? Are you going to dig it?
Yeah, and for you women, would you buy your man some makeup? Let us know. But so, Anthony, I'm curious, when you say that you worked with a chemist, what makes a man's skin different from a woman's skin?
Well, we're more tough. Women has a lot more softer skin. We have hair. We get razor bumps. It's a more tough situation for us than you guys. So when I met with the chemist, I decided to actually study women's makeup. There's a lot of fragrance in women's makeup. It's stuff that's
glitter.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that are in there for women that can break out a man, right? So when I met with the chemist, I added a key ingredient that you can't know about that because then I won't be in business. But overall, it's more water-based, so it's easily just on the face and go. That's pretty much it.
Because, Carrie and I, we both run into a lot of men in the green room, the makeup room, and as
They
far as
wipe it off immediately.
Exactly.
As soon as they're done, they're like, Whereas we keep it on.
Yeah, they don't like to be shown wearing any makeup. So are your makeup, is your makeup more subtle?
Oh, I have it on now.
Okay.
And it's just enhancing my handsome, right? It's one of those things where for me, I think men are afraid to be pretty. I think men are afraid to be handsome. I think men are afraid because of society. If you think about where we are now in this generation, it's more acceptable now because we're moving towards the men taking care, grooming kind of business. But I think overall, men should just take a stand to just be themselves. Like makeup for women, your heavy makeup, it's a lot of makeup. No wonder they want to take it off. What I have on now, it's easily, and then there's nothing on my finger, right? It's one of those things where it's just like an easy put on, it's an easy go kind of thing, and you won't really notice it until you wash your face.
Because you're not doing like eyeshadow. What we see here on the table,
So I have
you've
a
got
BB
like
cream, I have a foundation, water-based, I have a concealer, and then also I have a beard pencil as well, and a primer, and this is also
Wait, what's a
foundation.
beard pencil?
It fills in the beard parts of the beard.
Ah.
See, I have bald spots here, so I can just take a pencil for the
Yeah.
beard. Yeah.
No,
So
that makes sense.
it's literally more for typically the everyday kind of guy.
Interesting.
So,
So,
like,
Kenneth Groth Bovan here on Facebook says he thinks that it's great. So Kenneth, you might want to check out Alpha Male Cosmetics.
Can we use those makeup?
No.
No, we cannot. Why?
No. It's actually, it's a formulation for men. So if you...
So our skins are that different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you think about, let's say, CoverGirl, right? You think about how CoverGirl just released a guy wearing CoverGirl makeup. He looks like a female, embracing men to wear makeup like that. And that's not the statement that I'm trying to make here. I think this is actually geared toward the everyday guy. It's telling you, be yourself, be bold, be alpha, right? Don't be a woman. Don't use CoverGirl, right? It's not made for you. And just be yourself.
So I've read that in Asian culture, like in Japan and Korea, makeup for men is much more common, and even on the eyes as well. What did you find when you were doing your research with that?
That's a great question. I actually studied the Japanese culture. In Japan, they don't care. They are themselves, and men wear makeup out there. And I actually found 2 things made for men in Japan, and it was only a concealer and a foundation powder. It wasn't a full line. I think the reason people haven't been taking it to that step is because us as a society has been very closed-minded to a man being more pretty than a woman, or more handsome, excuse me. It's more or less like, for me, I wanted to make sure that I hit that market here in the States.
But in terms of men, I mean, I have 5 brothers, and I'm just thinking of their like
Reaction.
almost non-existent, like beauty routine or personal hygiene routine. Like I'm just glad if they wear deodorant. Like, how are you going to convince them to add one extra step like this?
That's a good question. So
No offense to my brothers.
No,
I love
I've
you all.
actually, I have 5 brothers as well, and they're the same way. But I think for me, my main concept is not to say you need to wear this. It's saying, hey, if you have a bump on your eye, if you have a razor bump, if you have bags, if you need to go out to an event for work, right, and you want to look extra dazzling, if you haven't gotten your hair cut yet, you can always put on some Alpha Male and it'll just make you look handsome.
Well, we have some great comments. Quote, enhancing the handsome. That's going to be my slogan for the year. Love it, man.
Yeah.
That's what Kenneth said. And Phoenix Allen said, are you going to look into hair products as well?
Hair products hasn't really been my focus yet, but I've actually decided to start off with the makeup first, break the market, get into skincare, because skincare is a part of a regimen for men. As I continue to build, something for hair would be interesting, actually.
Well, Phoenix, you might have to get a cut there. So what's your business plan? Like, what's your growth plan? Do you have an investor? How are you going to convince backers to pick this up?
That's a good question. So I've actually have some people that are willing to jump on board, but I feel for me, I need to make sure that everything is together before I invite anyone in, and that's just me being strategic. I'm putting together the models, the website, the photo shoot. Everything has to be done perfect before someone says, hey, I'm going to hand you a check. Because at that point, when it's together, when I know and confident enough that it will be out this year, I'm just going to be more okay with the feeling of, okay, I have people supporting me. I don't have to worry. It's going to do good. So, yeah.
And you're the sole entrepreneur right now on this?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to, like, let's say a big like Maybelline or CoverGirl or Lancome or someone sees what you're doing and they're like, oh, we like this idea. Like, we're going to enhance your handsome and we're going to just, like, crush you.
Right.
Like, how do you protect yourself?
Well, I'm actually trademarked. So the name is trademarked. The formulation is trademarked. The one special ingredient is trademarked. So I have a lot of documentation with lawyers and paperwork and things like that. So, anyone can put a specific sticker or name on any product and call it male enhanced. But the difference between my product and theirs is it's actually formulated for the guy. So no one can have that but me. So
Good. No, that's a lesson to trademark early and often.
Yeah, it took a long time, but it was worth it.
Cool. So what advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are going into a space like this, who, this product, it's a very bold product.
It is.
How did you mentally get past that roadblock of saying, hey, I want to build something out of this?
It took me a while. I had to be comfortable in my skin. I think a lot of people need to do that before they try to do any kind of endeavor. But I have so many supporters. I have a partner who supports me. I have a family who supports me. And I think overall, if I didn't have that initial push from any of them, like, you can do this, I don't think that I would. I've written a book. I've done this. I've I've danced, which is an interesting thing. I was on Ivan Ailey for like three months. And I've done a lot of things in my life. And in order to be successful, I think that people just need to be themselves and go for it.
Cool. What's your book about?
You're going to laugh. It's called The Best Workout is Sex. It's a relationship tip book. It's so weird. I've written it with The Best Workout is Sex.
A workout. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, got it.
It's a relationship tip book, so it's kind of like a Priance kind of throw off thing. But yeah, I didn't listen to that a couple years ago. But yeah, I've done a lot, so just go for it.
Well, you've been putting your voice out there for a while.
I know. I'm excited about everything.
Cool. Well, it's fascinating. So
Yeah. Well,
keep an eye out on this one.
in
Anthony
the
Lopez,
algorithm.
CEO and founder of Alpha Male Cosmetics. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us here on Bold Business this morning. Wow, we've had quite the lineup here, right, Julia?
It's so interesting. Oh my god.
Yeah, thanks for joining us here for the ride. Be sure to like Bold TV on Facebook. Put your comments, questions. We like to have our guests will sometimes respond, and we try to respond. So keep it going. Thanks so much again for joining us. We'll see you back here 9 a.m. on Bold Business.